In a significant shift from past promises, US President Donald Trump will abandon efforts to broker a Russia-Ukraine peace deal within days unless clear progress is made, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio warned on Friday. Speaking after high-level talks in Paris with European and Ukrainian leaders, Rubio emphasized that the president has dedicated significant time to the initiative but cannot continue indefinitely. Rubio noted that while there are signs of progress, particularly regarding US talks with Ukraine, Trump is focused on other pressing global issues. After weeks of escalating tensions, US President Donald Trump on Friday signaled a possible thaw in the tariff war with China. Speaking at the White House, Trump revealed, "We have nice conversations going with China. It's like really very good." A day earlier, he had suggested rolling back steep tariffs imposed on April 2nd when the US placed 10% duties on most Chinese goods, sparking retaliation. Now Trump warns further hikes may hurt consumers. He also delayed decisions on TikTok's US future, prioritizing broader trade negotiations with Beijing. In a tragic escalation of gun violence in Canada, 21-year-old Indian student Harsimrat Randhawa was fatally shot by a stray bullet while waiting at a bus stop on her way to work. The incident occurred on Wednesday around 7:30 p.m. when a passenger in a black car opened fire on a white sedan. Harsimrat, an innocent bystander, later succumbed to her injuries in the hospital. The Indian consulate in Toronto has expressed deep sorrow over the incident and is providing support for her family. Amid rising US-China trade tensions, Beijing has offered New Delhi increased market access for premium Indian goods and support in reducing India's growing trade deficit, which reached a record $99.2 billion this week. Chinese Ambassador Xu Feihong welcomed Indian businesses and urged a fair, transparent environment for Chinese companies, aligning with PM Modi's belief that competition shouldn't breed conflict. Xu stressed the significance of dialogue. He also extended an invitation to PM Modi to attend the upcoming SCO summit. He also called for joint resistance to protectionism and addressed India's concerns regarding trade, water sharing, and cross-border exchanges. After several postponed plans, tech billionaire Elon Musk, an ally of US President Donald Trump, has announced his intention to visit India later this year. The announcement came a day after a phone call with PM Modi, during which Musk expressed his excitement on the microblogging platform X, calling it an honor to speak with PM Modi. Their conversation revisited key themes from PM Modi's earlier visit to Washington, including space, mobility, and technology. Amid ongoing tensions from the US-China trade war, Musk is looking to strengthen business ties with India, from Tesla's market entry to the rollout of Starlink. In a chilling reminder of past attacks on minorities, a senior Hindu leader in Bangladesh was reportedly kidnapped and beaten to death in Dinajpur, around 330 kilometers from Dhaka. Identified as Bhavesh Chandra Roy, aged 58, Vice President of the Puja Udjapan Parishad in Viral and a respected community leader, was abducted after receiving a suspicious phone call. Witnesses claim he was assaulted in Narabari and his body was later returned in a van. Doctors declared him dead on arrival. India strongly condemned the incident, describing it as part of a systematic persecution of minorities. The White House on Friday unveiled an updated COVID-19 website, which now champions the contentious theory that the virus leaked from a Chinese laboratory, presenting it as the true origins of the pandemic. Previously focused on vaccines and testing, the site now features an image of President Trump and criticizes policies under President Biden. It also targets Anthony Fauci for supporting the natural origin narrative. The site highlights Wuhan's SARS lab and alleged biosafety issues, bolstering the lab leak theory. This comes amid growing support for the theory from US agencies and the country's escalating tensions with China. Ahead of the upcoming US-Iran nuclear talks, President Donald Trump issued a stern warning to Iran during a press conference, stating, "Your life will be in great danger," while hinting at the potential of World War III. In a continuation of their complex negotiations, Iran and the United States are set to hold a second round of nuclear talks in Rome today, aiming to resolve their decades-long standoff over Tehran's atomic ambitions. This comes just a week after a constructive round in Muscat. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has arrived in Rome for the indirect talks mediated by Oman. President Trump, who abandoned the 2015 nuclear deal and reimposed sanctions, insists Iran cannot obtain nuclear weapons. US President Donald Trump on Friday praised Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni following her recent visit to the United States. Trump took to Truth Social, calling her visit to the White House fantastic and highlighting the strong impression she left. In response, Meloni emphasized the long-standing US-Italy partnership, vowing to continue strengthening it. Her visit, which coincided with critical trade discussions, was seen as key to addressing issues like potential US tariffs affecting Italy's economy. Meloni returned to Rome after the visit to meet US Vice President J.D. Vance. In a significant development for India's first high-speed rail corridor, Japan has pledged to provide 2 sets of its renowned Shinkansen trains free of charge. This gesture aims to assist in testing and inspecting the Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail corridor, which is under construction. The 2 trains from the E5 and E3 series will arrive in India by early 2026, equipped with inspection tools to gather data on the effects of high temperatures and dust. After the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan in 2021 and the subsequent US withdrawal of forces, a vast arsenal of weapons was left behind. Recent news reports indicate that approximately 5 lakh American-made weapons were smuggled or sold to terrorist groups, including those affiliated with Al-Qaeda. A UN report reveals that the Taliban acknowledged losing track of nearly half of the US military equipment, with local commanders reportedly allowed to keep up to 20%, contributing to black market sales. However, the Taliban has denied these allegations. Numerous hijacking attempts have been making headlines worldwide. Recently, on Thursday, a chilling incident unfolded mid-air over Belize. A 49-year-old US citizen, Akelia Sawa Taylor, armed with a knife, attempted to hijack a Tropic Air flight en route to San Pedro. Taylor began attacking passengers, injuring 3 people. However, a courageous fellow passenger intervened, fatally shooting Taylor. Belize's Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, commended the heroism of the passenger. Authorities are now investigating how Taylor was able to bring the knife on board. Phoenix Ickner, who killed 2 people and injured 6 others at Florida State University in Tallahassee, reportedly joked about head trauma and power the night before the shooting. The 20-year-old's chilling messages revealed disturbing chat logs with college athletes where he spoke about taking something to help him sleep like a champ and laughed about head injuries. Ickner, son of a local sheriff's deputy, had access to firearms and had undergone training. Authorities confirmed his arrest after he was shot by campus police. In a tragic incident reminiscent of past cable car disasters, 4 people lost their lives and another was injured when a cable car plunged near Naples on Thursday. The cable snapped along the route from Castellammare de Stabia to Mount Feito, approximately 3 kilometers away. Firefighters recovered 4 bodies and the injured individual was hospitalized. Over 50 firefighters participated in the rescue operation, which was complicated by dense fog. The cable car, which had recently reopened for the summer season, had met all safety standards, according to the company's head. Authorities have launched an investigation and Prime Minister Meloni has expressed condolences. In recent weeks, Afghanistan and the surrounding regions have experienced several seismic shocks. On Saturday afternoon, a 5.8 magnitude earthquake struck the Afghanistan-Tajikistan border, sending tremors across northern India, including Jammu and Kashmir and Delhi NCR. The earthquake, reported at 12:17 p.m., occurred at a depth of 86 kilometers, with the epicenter in the seismically active border region. No casualties or major damage have been reported so far. Just weeks after over 100 people were killed in Plateau State, more violence has struck Nigeria. On Friday, police said gunmen killed 17 people in Benue State in the center of the country. Police spokeswoman Aniswese Catherine said a large group of suspected militia entered the area during the night. Security forces tried to stop them, but 5 farmers were shot and killed. At the same time, 12 more people were killed in a nearby area before police arrived. Fights between herders and farmers over land often turn violent in this part of Nigeria. Following a series of deadly maritime disasters in the Democratic Republic of Congo, tragedy struck once again as at least 148 people were confirmed dead after a wooden motorized boat, the HB Congolo, caught fire and capsized on the Congo River on Tuesday. The vessel, carrying approximately 500 passengers, including women and children, overturned near Munbandika. The fire reportedly started when a woman was cooking on board. Over 100 survivors were rescued, some suffering from burn injuries. Officials fear that hundreds may still be missing. Initial estimates had placed the death toll at around 50. Following a series of deadly US strikes in Yemen, the Houthi terrorists issued a statement vowing to intensify military operations against Israel and the United States. The escalation comes after US forces targeted the Ras Isa oil port on Thursday, aiming to eliminate Houthi terrorists. The Houthis condemned the strike, warning that continued US aggression would lead to further retaliation. Since mid-March, US forces have conducted strikes on Houthi oil refineries, airports, and missile sites in an effort to neutralize the group's threat and secure maritime safety in the Red Sea. Amid a spate of recent road accidents involving Indian tourists abroad, at least 25 Indian nationals were injured when a bus transporting them to Pokhara in Nepal met with a tragic accident in Dang district on Friday. Police confirmed the details on Saturday. The crash is suspected to have been caused by brake failures. 19 of the injured were transferred to a community health center in Tulsipur in Uttar Pradesh, which shares a border with Nepal. Most of the victims are residents of Lucknow, Sitapur, Hardoi, and Barabanki. 3 individuals with critical injuries are receiving treatment at a hospital in Nepal.